A lot of people have done really well with this. So I'm very excited about it. If you pay attention and you apply some of the things that I am sharing with you today to apply, you're going to be able to have great results. And that's the bottom line. It's a promise, but it's also very accurate. But it does rely on you following and doing the things that you need to do. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, I'd say think about what it would do for your life if you were able to have some extra revenue. What would you do with it? Why do you want to do that? And I'm asking you that because this type of training and this executing this plan could really help you in those areas. So, good. I'm getting a lot of feedback here on people that are excited. That's great. Me too. One thing I will mention is I'm not going to be answering questions right away because I have a presentation. So at the end, I will answer some questions. So that's that. All right. Now, question right off the bat, and that is, how many of you who are listening have traded the stock market? Also, how many of you are beginners? Let me know what you trade, right? So go ahead and share in the chat. I'm trying to get a feel for who's in the audience here. What do you guys trade? So some people are saying they're completely new, and that's awesome. I'm getting stocks. I'm getting another person that's new. Some people with stocks and options. I'm getting some Forex. So looks like we have a good mix. Some futures, some options. Good. We got a really good mix. Okay. Now, awesome. So thank you for participating, and I do want to encourage you guys to participate because I want you guys to be thinking about making your plan. So by the time that this training is over, I want you to have some notes, and after I'm done, I would love it for you guys to actually make a real plan because that would be really cool. So a plan. I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to planning. Planning's really important to me, and I kind of geek out over it. So, if you're not into planning, that's too bad for you. Okay. So the next question I want to ask is, what's your skill level? Are you guys beginner, advanced, or would you say that you're intermediate? Just go ahead and type in the chat. I really want to know what level your guys are at, because this is basically, I think this is really good for beginners, intermediate, and advanced because it takes us kind of back to the basics. I know for me, I have to go back to this all the time because it helps me get real and helps me get grounded with what I'm doing. And so I'm seeing a mix here as well. I'm seeing some advanced, some beginners, intermediate, and a few advanced. So that's good. It's good to go back to the basics no matter where you're at. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. So I just want to be really upfront what my goal is. My goal is to teach you a complete plan for stock trading success and to have a long-term vision. Really, a long-term vision is really important. And then to have a roadmap and to break that down into smaller mile markers along the road of success, right? Because you want to have big goals, but then you want to have little goals along the way. And so I'm going to help you. Do that. And we have a special today for you that if you stay until the very end, I'm going to show you how you can get 2 free stocks by opening a stock account. If you do not have a stock account, I'll show you guys how to do that at the very end if you stay till the very end. So again, my name is Casey Stubbs. I have been trading a long time, 25 years. I've been trading education for 10 years. I just did a 20-day challenge live, traded millions of dollars, founder of Trading Strategy Guides, and all of that stuff. I say all of that just to give you the foundation and to try to help you understand that I really am in a great position to teach you how to do this. in order for you to, this isn't to like to say how wonderful I am, because I mess up a lot and I still do a lot, but I want you to understand that I really have a great foundation to show you what really works, right? And I started trading when I was really young, and in my teens, and that has been with me ever since, and I've really enjoyed it and have been doing it for a long time. And I am probably the best person that can teach you how to do some of these things. Okay, so again, what makes me different is this is just some testimonials of people that I've worked with. Again, just to try to get you in the frame of mind that I really can't help you. My goal, and I'm not going to read these, right? Just people think that my goal is what makes me different is my goal is not to sell a bunch of stuff, but my goal is to help as many people accomplish their trading goals as possible. So I would say that's what makes me different. And this is, when I asked this question to some of my customers, and this is what they came up with. So these things that I'm reading here are from my customers. And he said honesty, integrity, and transparency. That came from one of my customers. So again, we've got a lot of things that people are saying. People like the energy. They like who we are. And we're just, the whole team here. I have a great team, and I'm really fortunate to have them. They do a lot of great things. And as a matter of fact, talking about the team, I have had my entire I've had my entire team on the call just so that they can learn this stuff too, because this is really valuable, right? It really is. Okay, so enough of that. So I've done a lot of things right, and I've done a lot of things wrong. And so one of the things I want you to take away is learning about my mistakes can be your success, right? I have messed up a lot, and I've also overcome those mistakes. And so I am always looking to learn from other people that have made mistakes that I don't want to have to make. And so I'm in a position to share a lot of mistakes so that you don't have to make those same mistakes. That's one of the benefits of learning from people with more experience, which is I've made that one of my life's goals, is to learn from other people that have more experience than myself, so I don't have to make those mistakes. That's why I have a lot of mentors and coaches in my life. And that's also what I teach as well, because I want to pass along what I know. So with that being said, these are the 3 things that I'm going to be talking about today, okay? The first topic is I'm going to tell you why stocks, and I think it's one of the best wealth vehicles. The next thing I'm going to talk about is roadmap, long-term targets, how to set up your roadmap. And then the third thing I'm going to talk about is strategy, techniques that will grow your wealth. So these are the three things. It's going back to the basics, and so it's going to be a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and get started. So intro into the stock market, very beginner stuff here. So what is the stock market? Okay, the stock market is where investors connect to buy and sell investments, most commonly stocks, which are shares in a public company. Okay, and when you look at the wealthy people in the world, they gain their wealth through stocks. And now that obviously doesn't count when you're talking about people that inherit their money, right? Inheritance, they're just born with it. But I'm talking about people without that. And I just read an article a couple days ago that said wealthy people don't get their money from stocks, they get it from starting businesses. However, when you think about Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Coca-Cola, those big stocks that have made massive moves, and we could add a bunch of others like Tesla and Netflix and just a whole host of stocks that have gone crazy. The people behind those stocks, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg is one of the richest people in the world. Those people gained their wealth through stocks. They started the company, and those companies made them a lot of money, but they didn't get serious wealth until their stocks went crazy, and that's because they're all of those people are the biggest stock owners of their stocks. And so we can find people like Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos from Amazon. You know that those guys are invested in their stock, and we can buy the same stocks that they have. Now, we don't have as much capital to put into it as they do, but we can invest in those people and their companies and get the same type of returns that they're getting. So when you look at those guys, Bill Gates, he's got a huge ROI. Well, we can get the same ROI through stocks because we own their company. Just think of it like this. When you buy a stock, you are owning a piece of their company. You are part owner. And when that company increases in value, you make money. That's one of the key foundations of the stock market. So because owning a stock is really like owning a business, it's really, I say this the easy way. Those guys have to put all the sweat equity into owning a business, and I'm a business owner too, and so I know how hard it is, right? Owning a business is really, really tough, but when you invest, you're able to own a piece of that company without doing any of the work, which is pretty nice. All you need is the capital investment. In life, you can either put in sweat equity, the hard work, or you can put in capital. And as some business guys just go around and they buy businesses and then they catch a percentage of the profits, right? And they don't do any of the work. They have somebody manage it, and they're just business owners. That's all they do is they're buying businesses and getting the profits. They're using their capital and going to work for them. And that's what stock market is. And so I'm going to talk about a couple of reasons why the stock market is really a good one to get into. So number one is because it's easy to get in. Opening a stock account is really easy. You can do it in a few minutes, and you don't need a lot of money to get started. So, you can actually open an account for $50 or $100 nowadays. And anyone can do that. Back in a few years ago, before the online trading took off, it was really difficult to get involved in stocks. But now it's quite different than that. Anybody can do it. And if you think about other things too, like real estate, that's really hard to get into because you have to have more money. You got to apply for a loan. You got to have people manage real properties. It can be quite lucrative, but again, it's a little bit harder to get into. And so then the other thing is, the other reason why stocks are so great is because companies generate really good revenue, and they increase faster in value than most other things. And I didn't really put an example in here, but I probably should have, but I was just kind of concerned about time. If you think about saving, I know a lot of financial people teach about savings, and everyone should have savings. And that's really, in my opinion, very bad advice. Because if you had, here's an example. If you had $10 in 1950, and you saved that money until today, your money has decreased in value over 90%. You could have bought a lot of things in 1950 for $10, and now you can't buy too much. And that's because of inflation. The value of a dollar has decreased so much. Money and inflation is caused by the federal government, and I'm not going to get into detail because it gets a little crazy, but the federal government creates more money, and that makes our money worth less. Worth less. So we don't ever want to save. You might want to have a little bit of savings in your savings account just for emergency purposes, but really you want to put your money to work, and the stocks is a great example of that, because if you look at the stock market over the last 50 years, it's increased and doubled over and over and over again, and that's because the money supply has increased, and smart people are always putting their money into the stock market, which makes it increase in value. Okay, so if you invest in stocks, you can make long-term returns. I want to give you an example here, a case study. Warren Buffett, his net worth is $89 billion. He's on the Forbes billionaire list. He's one of the the best people to make money from the stock market. But all of his money came from stocks. Also, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Phil Knight from Nike, Elon Musk, all of those guys got wealthy from stocks. And I read a really good book recently called Shoe Dog, which is an autobiography from Phil Knight about his journey in starting out Nike. And the interesting thing about Phil was his business did pretty good, but his business was Nike was open for about 15 years before he finally went on the stock market. He went public in 1980. And he really wasn't wealthy until he became a public company, and then he was able to get all of that stock. And then the stock just kept continually go up in value. So Phil Knight worked for 15 years in his business, making good profits, but he really didn't become wealthy until he got massive amount of stocks. So again, just in summary, the barrier to entry is much easier to get into stocks than real estate and even starting your own business, because if you've ever started your own business, you know how hard it is. Really difficult. So is everybody with me so far? You guys all tracking on that? Let me know if this is making sense to you. Again, I want you guys to stay active and alert and paying attention. Okay, good. I'm getting some comments saying yes. Excellent. Awesome. Okay, so one of the things that people will say as negative is they think that stocks are hard to learn. And there are a lot of things that can show you how complicated it is. But it doesn't need to be all that complicated, because you don't have to do all the research and look at the stock ratios and look at the price to earnings ratio and all of this stuff that is just so complicated, and to follow all the news and to sit there and watch news all day long. Like, that can be overwhelming. But at the end, I'm going to teach a little strategy that's really pretty simple on how to find the right stocks. And as a matter of fact, I teach this to a lot of people, and my daughter Courtney, who works for me, she just started stock trading, and she's been doing it for about a year now, and she's really had a lot of success. I think the last time I looked, her account was up 40%. 40%. And so she didn't know a lot about stocks, came right out of high school, learned how to do it, and started to do it. And so it works, and anyone can learn it. It doesn't have to be that complicated, because we just got to eliminate some of the complicated factors. So now that we know why it's important, or why stocks are good, why we think that stocks are a good vehicle, I want to give you a roadmap on how to grow massive wealth. And now, just a disclaimer for those of you that don't want to trade stocks, or you want to do something else, you don't necessarily have to use stocks for this. Okay, you can do other things. This roadmap will work with any financial vehicle, whether it's trading the futures, trading Forex, trading crypto, or even real estate, or even starting your own business. This is a strategy that works with everything, and it's all about increasing your money through reinvesting. And so this roadmap that I'm going to talk about has 2 C's. And I want you to really think about these 2 C's, really important. And those 2 C's are consistency and compound. Consistency and compound. And I'm going to explain those. So consistency, just the definition: acting or done in the same way over time, especially so as to be fair or accurate. So doing the same thing over and over and over again, just like showing up to work. One of the greatest lessons that my dad taught me was to show up to work every day on time, day in and day out, whether it's raining, whether he's sick, whether it's snowing, no matter what the situation is, you show up on time to work, day in and day out. And that kind of consistency really rubbed off on me, and was a great influence for my life. And if we think about the power of consistency, I want you to think about dripping water, right? So the reason consistency is so powerful is because it is a focused energy on a very targeted area. I want you to think about a faucet that's dripping. If you, or maybe not even a faucet, but like in nature, if it drips over and over again, what's going to happen to that surface? It's a drop of water hitting the same spot of surface over and over again. And it doesn't matter what the surface is, it's eventually going to break that surface and it's going to create a hole. Whether it's wood, dirt, concrete, it will eventually begin to break away and that surface will break, right? And then you'll have that force, and it's just a really, it's laser targeted, and it's a strong force. And you can just kind of see here, this is water, and it just broke a hole in that. There's just a hole that was broken, right? And, you know, I think about like those laser jet waters, like a pressure washer, right? It's a small little stream, and it's just laser focused, and it's just a consistent stream of pressure. So your consistent actions done in the proper way over and over again will eventually, even though it's a big move, but it's just small little moves. One little thing here, one little thing there, one little thing, just over and over again. You want to think 1 year of doing the same thing, 2 years of doing the same thing, 3 years, 5, 10, 15, 20, right? You just do the same actions over and over again. Eventually, it's going to create a great compound, snowball, powerhouse effect. And that consistency is really what we need to build up in our trading lives. And so massive results come from taking tiny actions over and over again. It's not from doing amazing things. It's not from being the best trader in the world and taking a big trade and just doing things. And people want to hear about that. They want to hear about doing this amazing trading and, you know, I'm going to make $1 million on 2 trades. And that's very exciting, but really that's not really reality. It can happen. I'm not saying it can't, but for planning purposes, it's hard to plan that. It's easier to take the positive action over and over again and use that power, the power of consistency to achieve great results. Does that make sense? It's really something that not a lot of people talk about, consistency. A lot of people don't talk about that. So the key to success in the stock market is making a little bit of money over and over again. Time and again, and just being consistent. That's the key word. Now, the next big secret is compounding. Okay? Now, compounding gains is slowly increasing something by little until it gets massive. So, if we think about that dripping faucet, that dripping water, you know, picture it and visualize it. Now, we know that it's focused and it's laser targeted and it's breaking through the concrete, it's breaking through the dirt. But now what happens is every time that drips, it gets a little bit bigger, right? So the first time the drip is 1 centimeter, the second time it's 1.1, you know, and then it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the next thing you know, you have massive pools of water flying down, right? So we know that that consistent drip is powerful just from the consistency, but what if that now is increasing in size? So that's really the whole strategy behind this, is just doing the same thing over and over again and then slowly increasing the size. So let's think of it in terms of money, of stocks. You know, you trade that stock and you make $1. And then next time you make $2. Then next time you make $3. It just begins to grow exponentially. Okay, so I want to give you an example. Okay, and this example, I'm going to lay it out with a question. I want you guys to answer in the chat. What would you rather have? 1 penny that's doubled every day for a month, or $1 million? Like right now, if I was going to ask you that, what would you rather have? Go ahead. Don't look, just go ahead with your first impression. Answer that question in the chat. What do you guys think? Okay, good. I'm actually getting a lot of different answers here. So the correct answer is, either one would be good, but let me show you what actually happens when you double a penny every day. This is what the power of compounding. So you can see this image here. It starts out with 1 cent, 2 cent, 3, or 2, 4, 8, right? So the first 4 days you have 8 cents, not that much, right? But then let's go to the next week. We have 16, 32, 64, 128, 256, 512, 1024. Okay, now, oh, another week later you made $1,300. That ain't no million. That's the million's looking good right now. Okay, well, now we look at it, goes to 167,000 after the 4th week, but then it doubles on the last day. It's worth 10 million. $10 million starting with 1 penny, right? That is the power of compounding, and it's the power of consistency, right? And so a lot of people might not realize how powerful this is, and it really is powerful. So now I want to give you another example, just to really hammer this home. So let's just assume that you have 25% return every year for 30 years, starting with only $100, and you deposit $100 a month. Well, guess what? That's over $8 million in 30 years. Now, if you don't have 30 years, if you're in your 60s or 70s and you're short on time, it's still not too late, because you can do other things to increase your percentages. But one of the secrets to this is to start early. Okay, but if you haven't started early, start now, right? Start right now. Do not wait another minute. As soon as this webinar is over, write your plan, okay? But if you start with a measly $100, and I use that $100 as an example because my daughter was starting out with $100 a month, right? And so this is real stuff here, okay? Now, let's go ahead and keep going. So if you have, now I want to give you, I'm going to go back to that $100 example, but I want to just talk about one stock trade. So how I want to really outline what a 25% return would look like. So if you have $1,000 and you invest it in a $10 stock, and that stock goes up to $12.50, that return on the investment is $250. That's your profit, but that's a 25% return on investment. So now, let me ask you this question. Is a $10 stock going from the price of $10 to $12.50? Is that a lot? Is that a big movement in stock? What do you guys think? Do you think that happens on a regular basis in the stock market? What do you guys think? Do you think from 10 to 12.50, does that happen? Yeah, it happens all the time. All the time. So even if you only made one trade a month, your yearly return could be insane. Only taking one trade. Again, but this is what having a roadmap, why it's so important, because a lot of people don't have these roadmaps. They don't know this stuff. Well, you can apply this to years, months, weeks, whatever time you have, whatever time you're looking for. You want to build your roadmap on how much time you have. But I'm using a 30-year example. So here's the actual chart, right? And again, you look at it, and if you look at year 1 is almost nothing, 2, nothing, 3, nothing, 4, nothing, 5, nothing, 6, nothing, 7, still nothing. You can't even really distinguish any movement until like year 15, 14 and 15. But then it really blows up, okay? Again, so that's the power of the compounding and the consistency. It's doing the same thing over and over again. Now, again, like I said though, you don't have to build your roadmap on 30 years if you don't have 30 years. If you have 10 years, make a 10-year roadmap, right? I'm just doing this off of 30 years to give you an example. You can change your number amounts on your deposits. You can change your investment returns. You can do this on a daily basis rather than a yearly. There's a lot of things that we can do it on a monthly basis. A lot of things we can do here, but the idea is to have this type of concept and build this type of roadmap, which is very powerful. So again, just to summarize, Um, and that's why I say going back to the basics. Even if you're an advanced trader, you need to know this stuff. Like, because you can trade and make money every day, but even if you don't have a roadmap, you don't know where you're going and you don't have a plan on how to scale and come up with an end goal, right? So I see advanced traders all the time. I had one trader that was making, about $10,000 a month, and they were doing great and they loved it. But they're like, well, you can't get real wealth trading. And I'm like, well, you actually don't understand. You don't understand because you don't have the compounding and the consistency. So if you're consistent and you make money every day, that's really good. And congratulations. But if you don't add the compounding aspect by increasing the size slowly, then you're going to miss out on these big type of gains. And so you have to have both. You can't just be one without the other. Okay, so if you're consistent and you compound, you do 25% over and over again and over, you slowly increase the size over time. So I just gave you the roadmap to grow wealth, but now I want to show you how to get there, okay? And now this is another point that's really important. So we talked to step 1 of this training, which was why stocks. Then I went to step 2, which is the roadmap, and now I'm going to step 3, which is the strategy. So, before I get to strategy, I just forgot something. Did you notice on that chart how small the gains were in the beginning? Did you guys notice that? There's an important thing about this, and that is once you start this process, you cannot stop until you accomplish your goals. Okay? So I want to give you a story about one of the people that I was working with, and I call it the story of the $1 million truck. Okay? I talked to this guy. He was working for a couple years in the markets, and he was making good money, and he was being consistent, and he was increasing his size and all of that good stuff. And he said, you know what? I accomplished my goal. And this was a young guy. And he's like, I'm going to buy a truck, right? And I honestly don't know what he paid for it. But I told him, I said, you know what the cost of that truck actually is? Because whether he spent $20,000 or $30,000 or whatever the price was, because he had to start over, that money that was getting put to work for him is now, he has to start over from the beginning. So once you start, you don't want to take your profit out and go buy a truck. Now, I'm not saying you can't spend your money, but I'm just saying have a plan for it. Withdraw a piece once you accomplish your goal, or once you don't want to stop this. So that's one example of stopping. Another thing that happens all the time, and this is really unfortunate, but I say disasters, right? Okay, I've been saving for 5 years, and all of a sudden I have to have a surgery, and I got to come up with a way to pay it, right? And I get that. That stuff happens in life, but you got to be prepared for that and have a plan and say, okay, I'm going to have a small savings account that's going to cover disasters. If I have to, because I can't touch my investing money because that's going to destroy my long-term gains, right? So you've got to be prepared, because let me just tell you something. Life is going to happen to you just like it is to everybody else, just like it happens to me. And I'm going to have to something's going to happen that's going to want to take that money, right? But you got to say no and really have another backup so that you don't have to touch it. Because once the process starts where you're making that consistency and compound, you don't want to stop it. And I think that that's one of the biggest drawbacks that happens to people. Okay, so now with that little caveat, let me share the strategy. So I personally believe that the strategy is not the hardest part. I think the hardest part is the consistency, personally. Trading strategies are a dime a dozen. So this is the one that I like, and it really works. So I'm just going to share it with you. And I'm not going to get into a lot of details because I'm just going to get into the common core concepts here. Uh, Finding the best stocks. So really, there's a handful of stocks that will outperform others. And if you think about it, in life and uh, in trading, there's always high performers. You know, you look at like the Michael Jordan, right? And whatever, you know, the Michael Jordan. I'm a basketball guy, so Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and LeBron James, right? Those are the guys. If they were stocks, those are the guys I would invest in, right? Well, you just want to look at it the same way in trading. You want to find the high performers and ride their coattails. So we think of Amazon and Microsoft and Netflix, Facebook, you know, those, you know, Tesla, the high flying stocks that just keep on going up over and over and over again, right? So that's the bottom line of the strategy, because really, if they performed well in the past, they're going to perform well again in the future. Not always, but a lot. And you can ride their momentum to bigger gains. And so then the whole strategy literally becomes finding the best ones and finding the timing to get in at the right time. So does that make sense, thinking of trading in that type of mindset? So I have already said this, in life and in the markets, there's always going to be high performers, right? And so one of the best ways to trade stocks is to find high performing stocks. Find your Amazons and ride them out to success. So my strategy is to find stocks that are going up and time it just right on how to get into those trades. And I want you to think here of a mighty river like the Amazon with a strong current. So just like we were thinking of the dripping water, now let's think of a river. The current of a river is so massive and so strong, fighting that current is really difficult. And when you have a stock and it's flowing, it's like a river. That upward move will want to continue. That force of momentum will want to continue for that to continue to go up for a long time. And you can just catch moves that will, you can get into a stock and it will go up double, triple, quadruple. It will go up and double over and over and over and over again. And you're like, well, when is this thing ever going to stop moving up? Well, some of them never do. They just keep on going because they're solid companies. They have strong leadership, and they are always moving forward and innovating and creating new things. Those are high performers, just like high-performing athletes. When you have a high-performing athlete, you know, and I mentioned some of these guys that nobody likes, you know, and some of them are very popular, but like Tom Brady, right? No, a lot of people don't like him, but he's a high performer, and he keeps winning, and that's what these companies are like. And I know Ben's in here, and he doesn't really like Tom Brady, so but he can at least agree with the concept that you know, a winner's a winner, and you can bet on them, and they're going to do well. So here's some examples of some of the trades that I've recently done. And when we look at the 25% return, these are stocks that gave that type of I'm just reading the comment. There's some people saying that nobody likes Tom Brady, but actually there are some people that like Tom Brady. So if we look at AMD, this was a stock that I had recently traded, and it was a 40% return. And this is using the strategy that I use. So the whole concept is to find a winning strategy, a winning stock, wait for it to pull back, and then when it pulls back, you wait for it to stall and then move in the direction of the original trend. That's really all that it takes. That's it. That's the only thing that you have to do, right? And that's not that difficult. And AMD is another one. You know, this is a company that has done really well. They've come out with a lot of graphics card. I just bought an AMD graphics card, and I don't have to do business with all the companies, but I bought an AMD graphics card recently for my son, who's got a gaming computer, and it was crazy because the graphics card was like the biggest thing in the everything's trying to get smaller now. They're getting mini computers and tiny chips, but the graphics cards are getting bigger. And so I don't know if you guys are gaming, but the graphics card had 3 fans. It was insane. And their company's doing good. So AMD, it was a great stock, great trade. Another one, this is a solar company. It's called Sunrun, and this was a 33%. And I actually closed this at 33% profit. I got in around $19, and it actually ended up doubling. So it was a really big return and really solid setup, and I sold too early. This is SMG, which is Scott's Miracle-Gro. You guys all know who they are. They do lawn care stuff, but they've been just growing really well and really solid. So you just got to find those winning companies, wait for them to pull back. And if you just look at this chart here, you can see that it's a really strong uptrend. The price pulls back, and then it goes into a place where it stalls, and then it popped back up. And I got in right here after it started that momentum again. I don't want to buy it when it's going down. I wait for it to get a little bit more of that upward momentum, and then I take it. And so the key thing with this, there's a couple really key things that I want to share with you guys. And that is, number one, you don't really need to do research and say, okay, this company's doing this. Here's their price to reward ratio. Here's their earnings. We like companies that are growing earnings, but it's really easy to see that. You can look it up on Yahoo Finance. But the charts tell you the whole story. The charts will tell you if it's a good company. It'll tell you if it's going up in earnings. It's telling you all of that. So we just need to go by the charts. So that's the number one thing, is you find a price that's moving up, you get into it, and you ride it as it moves. The next thing that I want to share is you want to be able to keep your risk really tight, because we want to gain as much as we possibly can, but we also want to limit our risk. So I recommend if you're risking $100 on your stock, let's say you buy $100 worth of stock, then I recommend when it's down about 10, then close it. $5 or $10, 5%, 10% of your investment. Just close it and go find another one, because you're going to be able to find trades that are going to make 100%, 200%, 300%. So it doesn't really matter if you lose $5 or $10. But what matters is that you don't let that loser, sometimes these things will drop for a long time. If this would have kept going down, well, it might go down to 80, and then it might eventually come back up. But even when it's down here, you're losing a lot of money, plus you're losing buying power, right? So you can't buy another stock. So it's important to close your losers quick and get back into another winner, so you can let your money work for me. Work not for me, but for you. You want your money to work for you, not for me. But yes, management is key. So we've got consistency, we've got compounding, we've got our strategy of finding winners, and then the last part of that is just managing the trades and managing your risk so that you're not losing a lot of money. And that can be done on any stock platform with stop losses. And I'm not going to get into that. You can find a lot of training on that, but it's very easy to manage your risk if you do a little bit of research. So that's the whole thing of my strategy. That's it. And so now I want to talk a little bit about the details of it, and I have an offer on how you could get access to all of the details on how to find the strategy. So wouldn't you agree that it's been a good training so far? Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. So just give me a little bit of feedback about what you thought so far on the training. If you enjoyed it, if you thought it was useful, if you learned any key things, please let me know. I really would like to hear. So just let me know in the chat. Oh, good. Good. So I'm getting some really nice things that people are saying, and I appreciate that. Good. So, so now I want to give you guys the opportunity to get the strategy. We call it the dream trade strategy. Paul said it sounds too easy. It's really not that difficult, to be honest. So I'm going to give you an opportunity to get the strategy. doing a special deal on it. And so my trading at some point was a disaster. It was very bad. I couldn't manage my trades. I lost big. I took the wrong trade sides. It messed up a lot. And so having a really key formula like this that took me a long time to discover will really be helpful for you guys. I managed my trades wrong, and I needed discipline improvement. Right? So like I said earlier, I did a lot of things wrong. And so now I have what we call the dream trades as a strategy. And the reason we called it dream trades, I talked with a lot of people on my team, and we decided to name it dream trades because our goal is to help you guys accomplish your goals and dreams in trading. And so we're like, well, let's call it dream trades. So that's why we have it. That's what it's all about. So you're going to get our strategy guide, and it's step-by-step, all of the details on how to find these trades. It's a simple, clear, easy-to-follow guide that has the entire strategy from A to Z. I know you want all of the details. And we're going to tell you how to implement the consistency, how to implement the compounding. I've got a roadmap that I've created that really dials it down into daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly evaluations that I think everybody should do. It's written in plain, simple language so that anyone can follow. And even if you're advanced, it's still going to be really valuable. So you get that. You also get the blueprint, which is what I was talking about as far as the roadmap. Really, that roadmap for me is really powerful, and I use my current trading statistics to come up with the roadmap. And I just want to thank all you guys for leaving the positive comments. And remember also, so I'm going to give you the offer here in a little bit on how to get your hands on this. So we also do something which is pretty cool. Is I do a video. Well, this is a weekly video, but we also do a daily where we just give you all of the setups that we're looking at, and we give a little bit of analysis. This is valued at $9.97, and I've actually seen a lot of people sell this kind of stuff for a lot more. So again, you get these videos right here. This is what they look like. Dream Trades update. This is, you just get access. You get to watch them at your convenience. They come out towards the end of the market. So one of the things I didn't really mention about the strategy that kind of makes it nice, you get your tracker, which is the roadmap. The thing that makes this nice is you only have to trade towards the end of the trading day. The market closes at 4 o'clock, and so we try to send it out around 3 o'clock every day, just so you can get an update on what's happening at the end of the day. You can do your evaluation, make your trade at the end of the day. It really doesn't take a lot of time, and then you can track it in here with the tracker that we give you access. So you get the Dream Trade Strategy Guide valued at $4.97, the Blueprint at $7.97, the Dream Trades of the Week valued at $9.97, the Daily Live Dream Trade Update, which is valued at $9.97, and the easy-to-use Trade Tracker, which is valued at $197. Total value of $3,485. And of course, you always know that when there's a sales presentation, you have to say, but wait, there's more. And so that never fails. And we got this funny little thing from Shaq. I think Ben added that. He thought it was really cool. I thought it was cringy, but I went with it because he wanted me to. So, so there you go, Ben. Bonus number one is you also get a look at the strategy and our profits from using it. You get an inside look with all of our team insight. It's not just me. It's going to be other people. You're also going to get our customer success team. We have 7 days a week. We have training, and that is really going to be great, because if you have any questions at all, it's going to be we're there for you. We're always there for you. So the total value of everything, including the bonuses, is $4,282. The lifetime access is valued at $497. The stocks guide at $797. the trades of the week, the live updates, the easy-to-use trade tracker valued at $197, the bonus, which is an inside look at our strategy and profits from using it, valued at $797. So you get all of that. And again, we want to think about the price here. If all this did was give you a reliable income, would it be worth the $4,000? And would it really be worth that? And of course, for me, I would say yes. I've paid that much for training many, many, many times over. Take the fear away from trading the markets. Would that be worth it? Fear is our enemy. We do not want to be trading if we have fear. If you have fear, stop trading until you can learn to master it. If you double your account 5 times, would it be worth it? If you double your account 10 times, would it be worth it? The answer is yes. And yes, you should be doubling your account. It should be going through there. Again, what is it worth to you? If you made $15,000 a month, what would that be worth? If you made $25,000 a month, what would it be worth? So I'm asking you this question because I just want you to get the idea in your head of what you personally would pay for this. So you can see why I would charge up to $5,000 for a service like this, and you can see why it would be a good deal at $5,000, and at $19.97 it would be amazing. But for today, the special offer is $49, just a one-time fee. That's all. And if you sign up right now, you can get it for $49. Ben's going to put a link in the chat, or you can just type in tradingstrategyguides.com/dreamtradesstrategy. And really, really valuable stuff. I put a lot of work into it. My whole team has. It's really a cool thing. So that's pretty much it. I know that when you pay for something, sometimes it makes it a little differently. I know a lot of people are like, well, I'm not going to pay for this or I'm not going to pay for that. But I know in my life, sometimes when I pay for things, I don't take it seriously until I pay for it, or I don't take it seriously until I make a commitment. So you make that commitment and you can get access to the strategy, and it can help you increase your discipline, because discipline is what this is all about. And yeah, it's a $49 one-time cost. It's not monthly. It's just one time. You get the strategy for life. And again, the other thing I wanted to say about this is time is money. You could discover your own strategy and do all the research on your own, but how long is it going to take you to find a winning strategy? It might take you a long time. It took me a long time. It's taken us a long time to discover this. So save time by just purchasing and learning from this today. Really, you won't regret it. Again, money, it's a tool. It's not good. It's not bad. It's just there, whatever your beliefs are. If you use money for evil, it will be evil. If you use money for good, it's good. I know some people are kind of opposed to wanting to make money because they're afraid that they're going to change or they're going to be a bad person. But if you have a plan and you know what you're going to use it for, then there's nothing to be afraid of. So the question is, should I buy this if I don't have the funds to trade? And the answer is no, or maybe yes. If you don't have the money, maybe don't buy it. But if you are saving up, then buy it, study, and then save up and get it, start trading later. Start running your strategy. Start practicing. Buy the strategy and start practicing, because they have things called practice accounts, and then you can practice without really losing anything if you don't have the money. So either way, but I don't like people to make bad financial decisions, but this is only $49. But if this was like $4,900, I would say, well, don't do it unless you have the money. Be smart. I want people to make smart financial decisions, and investing in a high-cost training program when you have no money is a very bad decision. So do you offer a refund? So here's our refund guarantee. If you don't make any profits trading this the first year after your purchase, we'll refund your purchase price, and you get to keep the strategy and everything else you're receiving today for free. So the risk is really all on us. We know you're going to love it. Everybody is going to do it. Everybody's going to get an opportunity. So will we be sending updates daily? we send it Monday through Friday, not on the weekends, but yes, every day. So that was it. I highly recommend you take advantage of it. And for those of you that have already joined, I just want to thank you guys for jumping on. I'm seeing some people get in. I love that. So thank you. So let's talk about the trading platform and some other questions. I'm going to handle. Oh, wait. I did say about the free gift, about getting some free stocks with. There is a broker that I am using right now, and it's called Webull. And they are giving free stocks to anyone that opens up an account. So I'm going to put that link in the box here. It's called Webull, and it's you can open an account with a little bit of money, like a $50 or $100 deposit, and they'll give you a free stock. So it's a pretty good platform to get started. When you do open up your account, I would recommend that you open a margin account, and I would recommend practicing and getting a full understanding of how stock trading works before you actually use any real money, because there's a learning curve. Even though I've laid it out and the concepts are easy, the long-term plan it's not easy, but they're simple. The plan is simple. Everything's about it is simple, but there is a learning curve involved. And so, you can jump on, get your free stock, practice with a practice account, and then, you want to learn. You want to be fairly confident that you know how the platform works, that you know how stocks work, that you have a track record for success. Be successful for a couple months trying this out before really putting it to the test, because, if you're consistent and you compound, you're going to make money. It's not going to happen right away. I'm not promising instant riches or anything like that, but the compounding and the consistency in conjunction with a good strategy will really reap really good results for you. So Paul is asking about how do you pick the right stocks? Well, you're going to do exactly what I showed you. I'm going to actually back it up a little bit here on how to do that. So what you're going to look for is, I'm going to back this up to the stock. So what you're going to look for is a stock like this, Paul. All you got to do is look for a chart, and you find a stock that's moving up. You wait for it to pull back, and then you get in. So you're just going to have to search for them. And there's every day there's quite a few stocks that are doing this. Even in a down market, there's always opportunities. Even today, I was able to grab a couple winning trades because of the market might be going down, but there's still stocks that are going up. So, so let's see here. So I'm going to go. So what's the ideal starting capital? Well, Paul, based off of the chart that I mentioned earlier, where I said $100 can go to $8 million, I would say that $100 would be a good starting point. Now, I would recommend that you do something like a monthly deposit where you put in $100 a month or maybe $25 a week, and you just add to your capital slowly, because especially when you're starting out, you want to begin to build your base. But if you have $100, you can trade one stock for $10, sell it at $12.50, make 25%. And then you can do that again next month. Or you could, do it twice a week or 3 times a week and grow your revenues by finding solid stocks and doing the process over and over again. Now, the reason I recommend adding additional capital is because it will speed up your compounding process. As time goes on, you're going to want to slowly increase your size. So instead of buying $100 worth of stock, at some point you're going to be buying $200 worth of stock, and then you're going to buy $250 worth of stock, and then you're going to buy $300 worth of stock, and that's where the compounding comes in, right? So you could do it all day long and only trade $100, but over time you're not going to get the big gains unless you do the compounding. But the big caveat with that is that's why you have to manage your risk, is because once it gets to a pretty significant size, if you end up making a trade that goes against you, it could be hurtful to your long-term progress. But that's why we cut it when it's down 5 or 10%, so that we don't have any big losers that will wipe us out. And you can do that with a simple stop loss. Someone was asking, Jen was asking, where do I find the charts? Well, if you click that link and you open up your Webull account, you will actually see the charts. And so I'm actually going to open up my Webull account right here, and you'll be able to see them right here. Okay, and this, let me open it up, pull it up. Okay, so this is the charts. This is what a chart looks like. And so if you go back to my slideshow, let's compare. This is my slideshow, and I'm saying this is the stock chart, right? And we're looking for stocks that are moving up with a pullback. And now this is a live example. This is Chewy. This is a stock I've traded many times, and I really like it because it's been moving up a lot. And so we got a big move up, it dropped down, and now we got a big move up, and guess what's happening? It's starting to go up again. So this is a stock that I'm looking at. I'm not sure I'm quite ready to take this trade, but today it moved up, and today was a down market. Most of the things were down, but today Chewy was profitable in a down market. And so with that being said, this is the type of stock that we're looking for. This is your Webull platform, and right here you just click the stocks button, and that's what brings up the chart. That's where you find the charts. And so that's how you find the right stocks. But again, the strategy will teach you all about that. And then someone also was asking, what's the let's see. Nigel is saying, how can he do this if he's not in stocks? Well, if you don't have stocks, you cannot take advantage of this right now. But we are actually getting ready to convert this over into other markets as well, into Forex and things like that. But, so that's that. What else was there? Let's see here. Okay. All right. And I see a comment here from Wasafi. Hopefully you're still here. I have tasked, I saw your comment, and I've actually tasked Ben to make sure that you are answered right away. And you should have already been answered. I think Ben responded to you yesterday because me and him had a conversation about it. So make sure you check your email. So please definitely take a look at that. Thank you so much. Well, I'll have to ask Ben if that is the case, because me and him talked about you specifically yesterday. All right. So thank you. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it, and hopefully you found the webinar enjoyable. Okay. All right. Is there any other questions? This is going to be the last call for questions. Go ahead and let me bring up the spreadsheet here, or not the spreadsheet, the training. Go ahead and grab this right now for $49. It's a really good deal that put a lot of work into it. You can get it at Dream Trade Strategy, tradingstrategyguides.com/dreamtradestrategy, or you can grab your free stock by clicking the link, by opening up your Webull account. We have the free stock there. So the charting platform that I am personally using for this right now is Webull, but you can use any stock account. You can use E-Trade, you can use Thinkorswim, and Chuck, thank you so much for grabbing it. Let us know what you thought of it. Thank you so much, Chuck. You can use TD Ameritrade, you can use Interactive Brokers, you can use Ninja Trader. Well, I don't know about Ninja because I don't know if they do stocks. TradeStation, any stock Any stock. Thanks, Aaron. I appreciate it. Any stock platform will work with this. And yeah. And and if you're interested after you purchase it, we do also have an app which will deliver the trades directly to you via app. Really cool. You get a free trial on that. If you purchase it and you're interested, we're giving you a free trial with the app. But okay, I'm actually going to close it down now and give. No, you don't need the app, Aaron. Absolutely, you don't need the app. It just makes it a little easier, that's all. Okay. So the app is after you purchase, you'll get access to the app. I can just, if you're interested, the app it's an upsell. It's a special offer for people that want the extra part of it. But the app is right here. We call it Dream Trades, and it goes on your phone or on your computer, and it just has the current setups that we're looking at, and we call them running with the bulls and sleeping with the bears. If we're looking for up trades with the bulls and bears with the negative, and it just delivers it directly to your phone, and it makes the scanning process easier. But we show you how to scan for it manually in the strategy section. Okay. Thank you so much for everybody. Okay, good. Thank you, Nigel. Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Wasfi. I appreciate everyone. I am going to close out, and we will see you guys soon. But if you want to grab this, please just go ahead and do it. I highly recommend it. You will not regret it. It's a great strategy. All right. Thank you all.